with fears of fuel price hitting a staggering 700 naira per litre, the implications for the economy and household, it's continually a worrisome situation. Well, as we take a critical look on this subject, we must also look at the harsh reality of potential inflation and pressures that will compound the already challenging cost of living. With essential goods and services likely to see a surge in prices, the question is, how can the government ensure that the most marginalized segments of society are shielded from the devastating consequences of the subsidy removal? All right, so let's get talking now. For more insight, we have our guest joining us now, Oladipo Ajayi, head fixed income chapel, fixed hit income market chapel, Him Denham Limited, joins us virtually. Thank you for your time, Oladipo. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us again. So let's get started with the impending removal of fuel subsidies and the projected rise in fuel prices to an alarming 700 naira per litre. So what immediate impact do you foresee on the economy and the household, and how do you think this will affect the already compounded situation in Nigeria? Talk to us about this.
Well, I don't think it's going to be anything palatable to people. Considering what people are currently facing now. Imagine the movement from 184 to 520. And now we are still talking about impending movement also as a result of change in the FX movement or the volatility in the FX market. I don't think it's going to be anything that Nigerians actually want to listen to at this particular point in time. As we speak, the cost of living is actually extremely high. At the same time, the real income to people are seriously dwindled. And so at this particular point in time, it's not a time that anyone wants to actually want to soak in the fact that there's also an impending rise in the price of PMS. So as it's not even something that is considerable as we think to be realistic. Because even with the first movement, we saw how things have moved. The cost of transportation has gone up, the price of goods has gone up, the prices of services have gone up, and now so we are now imagining another close to another maybe about that's close to another 40% movement again in prices of PMS offside. I think it won't go well with Nigerians.
Oh, okay. I mean, over of 200 or 400 billion naira has been saved according to NNPC since, of course, the removal of fuel subsidies. So how should this be administered in the light, of course, to cushion the effect of the impact that the removal has created?
I think, firstly, what we need to do is to actually address the issue of minimum wage. And I don't think anything that can take anybody home as we speak in this country. A minimum wage that is less than $50 is not anything to actually write home about. So we need to actually address the issue of minimum wage, and the presidency needs to actually address that quickly as they can, because that's one of the ways to actually cushion the effect of the impending rises and the impact of the removal of subsidy and the harmonization of the FX window. And aside that, also I also think that the government also needs to actually handle the issue of security, give it utmost attention as thing, because aside the fact that the normal increase as a result of macroeconomic issues, there are other increases that is as a result of security challenges. Farmers are not unable to access their farm, and actually getting the farm produce from the farm to the marketplace is becoming an issue. And that's one of the things that's currently fueling the prices of the price of goods also in the market. So I think that also needs utmost attention as we speak in that regard. And aside that, also I also feel that the state government also needs to actually wade into this situation, actually creating good transportation system like Lagos State. Sometime actually brought about the Blu-ray. I also think that they need to actually ensure that the Blu-ray is actually working effectively. And they mentioned about the red rail actually starting anytime soon, maybe before the end of third quarter, as they actually mentioned earlier in the year. I also think they need to speed that up as well, because those are the cushioning effect that can help to actually reduce the impact of these rises in prices of goods and services on Nigerians.
Oh, okay. I mean, talk to us about in the last 30 days of this administration. What is the major key or significant reforms that you've seen so far among all the reforms that has been recorded so far? For you, what is significant?
I think if I have to look at everything, I'll pick the issue of harmonization of the FX window. One of the reasons why I actually push that above any other thing is because what that will do is that will actually remove the rent seeking that some people have been enjoying, and that has not been having any significant impacts on the economy. That will remove that, and what that will also do is that will also open the room for liquidity in the FX market. Although as we speak, we've not started seeing the fullness of the impact of the policy. But I know that in times to come, in the next 2-3 months, we'll start seeing the real impact of what the decision that the government has taken around that. And because what that also does is that it actually opens Nigerian doors to foreign guys to want to come in. And one of the things that's currently delaying most of them from actually coming to our market is because of the negative return in terms of investments in the country. If you look at the return on bonds as we speak, and look at inflation, what will accrue to most of them is negative return, and that's one of the reasons why they are still staying on the sideline in that regard. But for me, it's actually a lofty decision, because it's something that is long overdue.
But in terms of fiscal management, do you think President Tinubu has demonstrated, prudency in most of his economic decisions since he assumed of office? And of course, has there been any visible effort from the presidency in the area of concerns about how to address budget deficit and public debt?
Yeah, I think on the aspect of how to actually address budget deficit, one of the reasons by actually harmonizing the FS window, what that will do is that that will increase the value of your revenue or your budget, and what that simply means is that will reduce your deficit. For example, at the beginning of the year, I think the translation for FX revenue has been around 470 thereabout. But now I think with the prevailing price at the market in the IME window, I think the translation price will be about 740 if it's done today. So what that will mean is that you actually get more naira than what you have gotten if you have been converting at the post-70 levels. And at the same time, what that will also mean is that will actually reduce your budget deficit in that regard. That to some extent, I think it's a laudable one. And also, if you look at another way that the government are also trying to actually reduce the budget deficit is in the aspect of creating the student loan. For me, the policy is great, but I still feel that there are many other things that the government needs to also look at in the policy. For me, when I look at policy, I don't look at just one or two things that can actually affect the policy. I also look at the overall impact of the policy, and also at the end of the day, now say, okay, it's something that we still need to tweak in this policy to actually achieve the result that we are actually looking at. So what that will also do is that it will reduce the expenses of government in regard to funding universities in Nigeria, and one way or the other, what that will also mean to the government is that will reduce their budget deficit at the same time. And aside that, also there has been concern also in the aspect of there's a recent rumor in the market about retirement benefit to service chief, and of course the army did not come to actually debunk that, or they not refute the statement. But I think that if that is true, I think that is too much, because if we are looking at actually cutting our cost and at the same time actually ensuring that we are reducing our debts, our borrowings, We need to actually ensure that it's not a time where we spend on frivolities. It's only things that we know that will impact the economy that we need to aggressively spend money on.